Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode on Lumber Capital Log Yard. Beside us here is our new kiln full of already kiln-dried lumber, ready to be turned into our newest product, which is tongue and groove and shiplap wall planking. But we're going to need a couple different pieces of equipment to get our final product, one being a shaper. So the newest addition to our arsenal of machinery is this shaper that I wanted to introduce you guys to. Although Jade and I have learned over the years to run lots of different pieces of equipment, we've never run a shaper. So this is going to be a new experience to get efficient at running a new machine. Now this is used, so there's nothing perfect about it. It's not set up yet, it's still on a pallet. We're going to, of course, set everything up in a way that makes sense. Along with the shaper, we're also going to need a planer, which we actually already have. We have a really good one. I have run that a couple of times for personal projects. Everyone always has those. You want to board planed, and man, I'm so used to rough cut that. Running a board through the planer and having it come out so nice and smooth, I'm like, wow, it's a completely different thing. So all of the tongue and groove and shiplap are going to, of course, be planed and then run through this machine. I think it's gonna go in that order. I'm not entirely sure yet how we're going to have it set up, but it's all going to be in here. So what everyone's been doing is putting in a lot of work to clean up this area here. It might not look the cleanest, but you may not have seen what it looked like before. There was a lot of just scrap wood and just a lot of mess in here that has accumulated over the years, as you can imagine. So we have it all nice and cleaned out now and ready to set it up in a way that makes the most sense, of course, coming out of the kiln here. So lots of different little things we need to still work out. But I did want to show you guys this newest piece of equipment that we have here. Now, I'm trying to get Grandpa over here to talk to you guys a little bit about it because he's run every piece of equipment that there is under the sun at this point. He's run it all. He's an expert on this kind of thing. So let's get him over here to tell you guys a little bit about his plan. So what is your vision for how we're going to have it set up? Because everything's a lot more cleaned up than the last time I saw it. So is this going to be put over here? And what all needs to be done to it? Because I heard that the wheels were somewhat busted off and you're gonna have to do some drilling of some sort. So tell us a little bit about it.
The wheels are the rubbers come off the wheels.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff happens on these things, run around on cement. That's pretty minor. I found those already. So what we need to do, we'll figure out the best use of our time as far as moving wood.
Yeah.
Because the first thing we have to do is come in. As far as location, depends on which direction we're working our wood. Because the way it's setting right now, the wood would go this way.
Okay.
But we got to run them through the planer first and get them to 3/4 inch. And probably run them through the resaw to get them exact measurement so they don't have any bumps or anything. Because if they're going through here and they got a bump on them, it's coming out a bump.
And that's actually something that we need to figure out because we don't have a resaw here.
Not here.
No, well, we're not dragging all the wood back up there just to haul it back here.
That's somehow.
Like that'd be like, I hope that that's not what happens because that would be the least efficient possible thing that we could possibly
you can
do.
Is bring the machine down here.
Yeah, or buy another one.
Yeah, because you got to have them straight on the edges.
Right.
And running them through a table saw, unless it's a big industrial table saw, if it's got a bump in it, when it comes out of that thing, it's going to have a bump in it.
Yeah, well, so they're 10 inches wide and we have to get them down to 8, right? So we have to take off some material to get it perfect.
Probably. That we'll have to work at. And then we have to go down to a supplier and we got to get the T&G knives for this tongue and groove cutting knives. One will cut the groove and one cuts the tongue. So the process will be to get all of the wood run through the planer. All of it the whole batch that you're gonna do.
Okay.
Has to all be run through there one board at a time until they come out all the same.
Okay.
And then, then they'll be run through one side of this, the whole deal, one side tongue. And then we'll reverse it and run them through with the tongue.
Okay,
Now, the
so-
lucky thing is, we've got a feed system on here. So you can set the board up. We'll put a table out, a roller table. And you can get the board on here and you can put it in there and this thing will just run it through onto another table. So it's not like you're sitting there pushing them through.
Oh, gotcha.
Um,
One machine at a time then, right? So we won't be running two at a time. It won't be like one person on one machine, another person. It will be all of it through.
Because whatever batch that you decide to do,
Yeah,
all has to go through that thing first and come out the same size.
Right.
If you say, okay, I'm gonna do one here, because that's not laser. That's not laser set,
Yeah,
that's eyeball set.
Yeah.
So you run one board through, you run another board through, you run 100 boards through there, and then you reset it and you run them through there again. That's the way that's gonna have to be done, or they're not gonna be the same size.
right.
And then your TNG won't fit.
Okay.
Well, the lap siding wouldn't be quite as tough, but TNG is. So it'll just be a process. What we may be able to do is run them through this one direction, set them aside, and we could, because they're going to be set, we could spin this thing and take them from there and push them back out the other way. That would eliminate having to carry it all the way around.
Just move the machine.
No, just spin it.
Yeah.
That's with this much product that you want to run through here, it's going to be a process, learning curve.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what the boss is going to do as far as the resaw goes, because I mean, we hold all of it down here, stacked it all in, to stack it all back up and run it back up there just to bring it back. Like, that's a lot of wasted effort, in my opinion. Although,
Well, it is, and I'm working on the forklift to see. It's an old forklift,
Yep.
and
yeah.
I don't think it's getting spark. Now I was up, did compression test on it this morning, and it ain't pretty, but it should run. Because
Okay.
how old is that thing? It's older than
Older than me.
yeah, for sure, probably as old as I am. So maybe not quite that bad. Anyway, we'll if I can get that thing running, then it'll make it easier to load and
Oh
unload.
yeah, it will. Oh yeah.
If we had to have another resaw, and you're gonna have to, because I mean that stuff's just gone through a kiln, it's air dried. If it's got any waviness on it at all, you can't. Well, you can, but it would be a waste of time on a skill saw, I mean a table saw. But they got to be the same.
yeah. Yeah.
Because once they go through here, what we take off one pass and spin it around and take the other pass, they've got to be the same. Because if they're not the same width, and you start laying them,
Right.
one board's that thick, one, you know.
So
it's-
consistency is really important when it comes to tongue and groove and shiplap, because of the way it's locking into one another. They have
when
to
you
all
butt
be-
them, if they're butted straight across, they're okay. But if they're butted because one's wider like this, then you throw a gap in this next one, and pretty soon it's like laying hardwood floor, which I have done many thousands of feet of. If they're bad, and you're not going to sand and finish it, and if you sand
Yeah.
and finish, they can fix it.
Yeah.
But if it's not sand and finish, pretty tough. So it's going to be a process, and we just, we got this old store. We had a bunch of wood here we were going to use. We didn't get to it. It doesn't take for these places to fill up with wood.
No,
now
it
we're going to
doesn't.
have to deal with sawdust. All we got is that one vacuum over there.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand that this little baby puts a lot of sawdust out,
Oh yeah.
a ton.
Oh.
So we're going to be going through some bags. The only thing I could do is figure out a way to pump it outside into a hopper or something, but it would take another,
Vacuum.
fan, motor and fan. And that's all going to be part of the equation at some point.
Well, lots to figure out.
Yes, there is. The wind doesn't blow enough, we could just shoot it up in the air, and just. But now we won't use this mandrel here because this is designed for doing like a baseboard, tall, you put a knife in there that's got the sculptured edge, and you run it through there and it makes baseboard contours we won't be using this to begin with. But we'll just have to tool up with the TNG and the dado blade for the TNG, for the shiplap.
Well, this might just be a little bit fun to run, huh? If it shoots it through there, it's not too hard.
Yeah, see, this thing doesn't run it fast. It's just a nice steady.
Yeah.
But you're not pushing it through there with your fingers, and you're just continually feeding them through. And we've got the roller tables for it, so we'll have to build them up, and so that we can just feed them. It's going to be a process, but we can. It's like anything else. I was going to go sharpen some blades for you in there because I know you're out. And
now you're doing a repair on the sharpening.
Broke it.
That's
so,
my bad.
So
I think I know what blade you're even talking about. The one that
there was one tooth bent over like this.
Yeah.
And you don't see them. It came through and it hooked that plunger and shut the machine down. And then when I tried to take it out, it springing.
I said not to throw that one away because I thought, well, you know, if maybe we could salvage it, but.
Well, you can. I'll straighten those two out enough that they'll work.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we're not running blades too long, maybe 2.5 hours.
Well, that's what they say.
And
2 hours is what
take
they
them
say.
off, because we can get more sharpenings out of them that way. They stretch, they get hot. Anyway, it's all the process. I'll get the wheels on this so we can roll it around. And it's gonna be a lot of passes with that thing.
Whole lot.
You can only cut a tiny bit off of each board, or you can't get them in there.
Yeah.
So it's just going to
Tiny
be
bit at a
just
time.
standing there feeding them all the way, every one of them first, and then set it, calibrate it.
And then all of them back through again.
All again until we get it down to 3/4. And
Ooh, well, a lot.
you'll be talking to yourself before this time. So, no, it'll work. You know, I mean, it'll make what we want.
Yeah, well, thanks for telling everyone a little bit about our plan.
Okay.
And thank you guys for clicking on today's video. If you did enjoy, give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't. Other than that, we'll see you back here next time. Bye.